Well, we've been pointing out that it is turning out to be a session which is quite steady. So a good advance decline ratio on our hands. So 1,300 stocks which are advancing to around 953 stocks which are declining at this point in time. From the Nifty space, it is a lot about the financial stocks that we've been highlighting. But just want to talk about a couple of stocks which are losing a little bit of ground. So HPCL and BPCL, it's been a bit of a choppy year or maybe choppy month for them. So both those stocks are in the red at this point in time. Motors is down around 1% and that stock has lost around 8.5% this year. M&M, the management spoke to us about the tractor outlook for FY20. That stock also a bit sluggish, down around 0.3% at this point in time. But let's get in some opinion then. Timothy Moore of Goldman Sachs says Indian markets tend to have a strong performance ahead of the elections. For earnings going, they are expecting about around 16% growth in CY19. Let's hear him out and be back.
There's a pretty strong pattern of strong absolute and relative performance by the Indian market in the 3 months and 1 month leading up to actual election date. And even some continued strong performance after that, some of which then tends to revert, say 3 months or 4 months after the election. But certainly in the period of leading up to the election, there tends to be some strong performance. You can ascribe various factors to that. Maybe it's strong fiscal policy, some so-called pump priming before the election, etc. Maybe it's the idea that in past elections, there's been some uncertainty in terms of the ruling coalition, and therefore if there's a potential for greater certainty post the election, maybe that's something the market factors in. Against the backdrop of the weakest reporting season for the fourth quarter for the region as a whole, we actually saw India coming in quite strongly relative to starting consensus expectations. So there's a sign that earnings growth is actually beginning to stabilize, and the absolute number is actually quite good. We're looking for about 16% growth in calendar year 2019. It's a little bit less than consensus. Consensus is currently about 21%, but that 16% is the best in the region. So you put all that stuff together, and then you add in the potential for an improvement in sentiment into the election, and it says to us that the risk reward actually looks pretty decent over here.
Timothy Moore at Goldman Sachs with that view. The market is up 50-odd points right now, 11,533. There is a flash at the bottom of the screen. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the nation at 11:45 a.m. with an important message. I mean, that is all that we know about what this is. But at 11:45, we will hear from PM Modi. Okay, Ashwini is with us to run us through what he's making of things. Ashwini, the run continues, 50 points, 50 more points. And it's again, I mean, financials all the way. What would you do?
Well, I hope it's not that 8 p.m. type message. Unless it's that, I would think, the dips should be bought. All day market is held on. Yesterday it closed strong. So my sense is that there is still more upside, both in financials and in the overall market. So we're getting a bit of a dip right now. And I would think I would like to buy this dip. Having said that, individual stocks, Bajaj Finance is a buy with a stop of 2950, target of 3020. IndusInd Bank is a buy with a stop of 1770, target of 1850. And Escorts is a buy with a stop of 800, target of 855.
Okay. All right, Ashwini. We will touch base with you a little later. Thanks very much for joining in, taking us through those technical calls. Come off a little bit for the market, but nothing really to write home about. Take a break. But up next, an exclusive conversation with Credit Suisse's Neelkat Mishra on their India strategy and positioning ahead of the election. Stay tuned for that big exclusive coming up next.